What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Crunch Time on a Saturday evening. We are back from the Teoscar Hernandez show. I think he's still hitting 2 home runs. We'll see if he gets any more. But yeah, good early slate. I think we did reasonably good on the analysis. We're going to come back and have it run it again on the late slate. Back with Tim, back with TJ. Tim, this slate, we were talking, it's a little more difficult. The pitching you want is so expensive. There are some value bats. You can mix it up, but I think we're going to dice it up on this show. Maybe a little differences of opinion.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be as straightforward as earlier. Like earlier is pretty simple, but this is like, there's so many different ways that you can go. I don't think there's necessarily one exact right answer in cash or GPPs.
Yeah. And then TJ, they're already hitting. We're up to 26 likes already, TJ. They want some more Spidey bombs. I don't think we didn't get any of them on the early slate, did we? Not yet.
Sorry? No, I don't think any of the ones hit. Sorry, I was chatting in chat there. I don't think any of the Spidey bombs did specifically, but we had lots of good calls there. I'm going to be honest, I didn't check to see who the home runs were in the early slate, so I'm not even sure.
Everyone on Seattle homered, I think, is basically happening. All right, so we're at 39 likes already, TJ. We'll get to 50 when TJ starts talking some tournaments, so we'll get a Spidey bomb. But first, Tim, I got to talk to you about this pitching, and we got to dice it up here because we've got the haves and the have-nots at pitching today, and I think both might be viable because there's a lot of expensive bats you might want today. So let's decide at the top who's the top dog. We've got Max Scherzer, right-handed pitcher against Minnesota. Lots of strikeouts going to be in there. We've got Zach Wheeler against an injured St. Louis lineup. And we've got Kyle Bradish in basically the ultimate matchup at home against Colorado. There's Freddie Peralta against San Diego. He certainly has the upside. He's more of a tournament option for me today. Between those three at the top for you, how do we rank those? Does a couple $100 salary factor into it today? They're all basically the same to me. What are you doing?
So on FanDuel, it's for me, it's Scherzer. Like I'm going to find the extra $200 over Wheeler to go with Scherzer. There's so many strikeouts in this Twins lineup that's just where I'm going to go. I'm certainly not going to fault anybody if they want to go Wheeler. Like it's obviously a good matchup for him. But I think this is just a better matchup for Scherzer. I think he's a better pitcher. I see no reason, at least on FanDuel, to play Kyle Bradish in cash games. I don't think, for me, I don't think that's a very good play. Like, I think that you're really deciding in cash on FanDuel between Wheeler and Scherzer. And for me, it's Scherzer. So, because the prices between those three guys, it's a $700 range. So I just say go up to Scherzer.
All right. I do like Brad. I'm debating playing Bradish on FanDuel. He's my guy.
Really?
Definitely on DraftKings.
Yeah. On DK is different, but I mean, you're considering Bradish for cash games on FanDuel?
It's Colorado on the road. I mean, what more do you need from a run prevention and strikeout upside than Bradish? Bradish, arguably a better pitcher than Max Scherzer this year.
I'd rather find the 500 for Wheeler.
Yeah, Wheeler. These are all really close calls, if you ask me. They're all put them in a hat and draw them out. I'm debating Bradish simply because the bats I want, I need every ounce of salary while also having what I consider to be top tier pitching.
Right.
So that's what I'm doing at the top. I want to flip the script because I believe pre-show I was looking at both the RotoGrinders projections. I'm just going to click this real quick here. So the RotoGrinders projections and I believe the bat are throwing out the cheap pitchers to get all of the bats, Tim. I've overridden that personally. It sounds like you have too. I hate going against the bat. I'm on a bad streak going against the bat. I think I'm like 0 for 3 the last 3 times I've tried to go against it. What on earth is going on? The RotoGrinders projections too. I think RotoGrinders likes Toussaint. I think the bat was throwing out Davies or Toussaint as well here. Do you think that's viable from the cash perspective? Would you look at somebody's lineup that has that and be like, what's going on?
There's no way that I would play Tuki Toussaint in cash games. There's no way I would pitch Zach Davies in cash games. There's no way that I would pitch Carlos Carrasco in cash games. There's just I mean, the projection systems are awesome. I agree with you. I hate going against them, but I'm just not going to do it. Like Tuki Toussaint, I mean, he has really good, strong K rates against right-handed bats, but he's also like has no control to either side of the plate. He's all over the place. Currently, I'm playing a couple athletics in cash games.
Yeah,
because, I mean, like I'm completely opposite of what this projection is. Like, I'd much rather get to guys like Ryan Noda and Seth Brown going up against Toussaint than I would never pitch Toussaint in cash games. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I'm sort of in the camp you are and never like to go against the projections, both from RotoGrinders and the bat, but I think that is what I'm going to end up doing today. TJ, at the top, let's talk some tournaments. Well, actually, let's get to the Spidey Bombs. That's what everyone's here watching for. So let's talk those, and then we'll talk pitching at the top. So who are we looking at for the first Spidey Bomb?
All right, Spidey Bomb number 1 today. I got to pull up his odds here. Hold on, apologies. Spidey Bomb number 1.
Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size, catches thief.
Pete Alonso plus 360 on Fanduel, plus 370 on DraftKings, and if you can get over at Bet365, it is plus 425. And then I got another better odd one for you right off the bat because we have reached so many likes here, and it is Alek Thomas. You can get him for plus 1075 at Bet365, plus 900 on FanDuel would be the best next one. So Pete Alonso and Alek Thomas.
Do you guys remember when this was a production and TJ would put on a Spider-Man mask and everyone would rejoice and it would be a big party? And now TJ, the baseball season has worn TJ down. He is struggling. He is fighting for his life to deliver you guys Spidey Bombs. So hit the like button so that we can get the third one.
I do remember that when it first came out, the mask was great. I know he still got it, but it is TJ. It's a long baseball season. You don't want to be wearing that every single day, do you?
No, especially when I don't have headphones in today, but when you got headphones in, you try and put it on over top. It just like digs it into your ears. Oh, it's painful.
Yeah, and that's a good mask. That's not a Halloween mask you find at the Halloween store either. So, all right. Spidey Bomb. I like the Alek Thomas call. I was looking at him in DFS, and plus 900 is certainly a good one on FanDuel.
I like Alek Thomas quite a bit in DFS. That's a really good call.
Yeah. Pitching at the top, TJ. How are you separating these guys? What are you playing? What's the exposure look like? Very difficult for me to separate them.
So I'm actually only playing one lineup today. To me, Scherzer is the top of the, like, especially on FanDuel where the prices are close together. To me, it's Scherzer by far. He's got the highest strikeout rate of those three. He's got the highest. Minnesota has the highest strikeout rate of the three teams that they're facing. It's like I don't really want to play Wheeler against the 20% strikeout rate that St. Louis's lineup has out there. But Scherzer, of the three big guys, he's got the highest strikeout rate, and this Minnesota lineup has a 28% strikeout rate collectively. So he's, to me, the top guy of the top crew by a fairly wide margin. But then on DraftKings, where there's a 3K difference between Scherzer and Bradish absolutely is my top guy over there. Where they're close in price on FanDuel, it's definitely Scherzer above Bradish. But where on DraftKings, where they're spread out, Bradish would be my priority. And then I think in like a single entry setting, I'd be looking to go Scherzer Bradish on DraftKings or a Bradish and Zach Davies type situation where he is 5.7K. More interested in doing that as an SP2 on DraftKings than I do as a like just full on single pitcher on FanDuel.
Yeah, people are playing Davies, I think, and Toussaint, I think, are the two cheaper options that are drawing some ownership. Let me refresh and see what we have there. Do you like those? You mentioned you like Davies. What about Toussaint? And then anyone else are you looking at to maybe get some salary savings that could possibly run you up in a tournament?
Davies would be the only other one just because of that strikeout rate for Cincinnati. But like even if I was running 150 today on DraftKings, I think I'd be rolling with a 4-player pool today, and it would be Max Scherzer, Kyle Bradish, Zach Davies, and then one of my favorite tournament options is Freddie Peralta.
So basically, you just be going full on spending at the
3 to 4 pitchers, and then mixing and matching a bunch of different stacks.
Yeah, we've got Peralta. Maybe the price difference, but people will definitely be playing Wheeler over Peralta today. Correct? I think
Peralta is going to get squeezed quite a bit.
Yeah, I think he's going to be.
He's my second favorite after, from like even a raw points perspective. He's my second favorite behind Scherzer.
Mm-hmm. All right, and then did you want any of these other Carrasco?
None
Ryan
of them.
might
Not
be on it.
them.
No.
JP Sears would be the only one I think I would consider playing.
Yeah, I'm playing Angels against Carrasco for sure today, so I'm not on Carrasco. All right, so that's basically our thoughts on pitching. Currently at 90 likes, TJ for Spidey Bomb 3. Let's shoot for what, 125?
No, just 100. That's all I need. Get me those likes to 100. If you guys can get me up to 125, I got a fourth one for you. But for the third, just 100.
All right. If you missed the earlier show, I'll drop a bet at 100 for me too. I got a couple of bets. One's a parlay, one's a straight bet, and we'll get those in. Maybe Tim's got some taters we can talk about too if we get up to 125. TJ, I'm going to stick with you for offense in general today from a tournament perspective. Here's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at if you're spending up on pitching, you've got cheap Oakland bats against Tucson. If you aren't spending up, you've got Ohtani, Robert. You can get to some of those guys. I think both of those teams as a stack also work out pretty well. What else is out there between basically those three? Baltimore, I forgot to. I'm all over Baltimore bats today. I'll even like Mountcastle, Santander. These are staples for me from a cash game today. Henderson, pick an Oriole. I'll play him against Colorado. Flexen in this bullpen. This is literally the worst starting pitching / bullpen combination you could get in the entire league of any combination of starting pitcher and any team's bullpen. It's Flexen with Colorado. These guys are on the road today. This is horrific pitching that Colorado's going to have today. I'm all over Baltimore. What do you think of all of that, TJ?
Yeah, I don't mind those calls whatsoever. I like Baltimore quite a bit today. I also really like Philadelphia and Arizona. Those are probably my three favorite stacks today: Philadelphia, Arizona, and the Philadelphia Phillies. I don't mind getting to some Chicago Cubs today. I like them a decent amount. Don't mind the Mets, and don't mind the Angels and Athletics as well.
Tim, if you had to pick, let's say, three offenses to build your teams around today, what would they be?
Since I'm paying up for pitching in single entry GPPs and in cash, I'm using a lot of Oakland. I'm right there with you with Baltimore. I absolutely love Baltimore where I can fit them. They're going to be a little harder for me to fit just because they're a little bit expensive. And then I'm kind of flip-flopping between the Diamondbacks and the Reds. Like if Zach Davies is going to get ownership, I want to get some Reds, you know. So I like that game quite a bit. Arizona and Cincinnati.
All right, let's see here. We got to 101 likes. Let me throw out a couple of my bets. We'll get a Spidey Bomb, and then we'll get position by position. So if you missed the earlier show, I'm on the Orioles run line. That's a -1.5. You can get around -140 to -145. I also have I didn't put it up on Scores and Odds, but I have bet the Orioles money line with the Phillies. I know TJ liked the Phillies money line behind Wheeler against this St. Louis offense, missing a couple of starters, including Arenado. I like that as a combination. That should basically come out to around even money on most of your sports books. TJ, what are you looking at for Spidey Bomb number 3?
Cody Bellinger plus 600 to hit a home run over on DraftKings today. Just phenomenal odds for a batter of his caliber. And so Cody Bellinger is Spidey Bomb number 3. Get us up to 125, and I got one more for the people.
All right, I'll get in on Mr. Cody Bellinger as well. Let's go position by position. Catcher for me today, probably not playing one on Fanduel. DraftKings is pretty easy. I believe Dean coined it Shane Bangaliers. Still reasonably cheap. Way too. The A's bats are just too cheap given their situations today. And if you're looking for some upside, he looks like the guy at 3,200.
Yep, he's my guy in cash games, and he's my guy in my single entry team. You're gonna hear me talk a lot about Oakland today, so that's really my guy today. He had a great game yesterday. I'm hoping he can continue his momentum today.
Yeah, love Langoliers today. What is Mr. TJ doing at the catcher position?
Can I just say one more thing, Brett, about catcher?
Yeah.
Corey, like if you need it, Corey Lee is min price at 2K, and I know that we're going to need salary today if you want to pay it for pitching. And if you don't like Oakland as much as I do, and you just want to punt it, I think Corey Lee is completely fine for cash.
TJ, what's from a tournament perspective? What's that looking like?
Really strong mid-tier today catcher with Langoliers, Ohapi, Mitch Garver, Andy Rodriguez, even Elias Diaz as a contrarian play if you're not playing Radish in tournaments. And then I agree, Corey Lee is probably my top guy if I need to full out punt. All
right, let's go to first base. We've got Noda, 3,200 on DraftKings. You can get him, I believe he's first base, 2,800 on FanDuel. Probably my guy, especially if you're spending up on pitching. If you aren't spending up on pitching, maybe you can mix in some other guys. I also like Mountcastle quite a bit today. I'm trying to get as much Oriole exposure as I can, a little more attainable on FanDuel for me today.
Yeah, I completely agree with all that. Like Noda's my favorite, followed by Mountcastle. Santander is first base eligible on FanDuel also. Andrew Vaughn would be another interesting value play. And then if you have the money, Christian Walker would be my favorite if you have salary at the position.
Yeah. What do you think of on DraftKings? You have Ohtani. Are you worried at all with this UCL? Anything like that with him at the bat? Is he worth the price tag today? I know the bat has him like the highest projected player by miles today.
I'm definitely I'm worried about fading him. I'm not really worried about him health wise. If this was an issue, he wouldn't be out there. So yeah. He's definitely the top bat on the slate. I just can't get to him the way that I'm building my team. So I'm definitely nervous about fading him in all formats for sure.
Yeah, he literally has hundreds of millions of dollars on the line in terms of his health. So
yeah, there's I mean if this was an issue hitting, there's like zero chance he would be hitting.
Yeah. TJ, what are you doing at first base?
Yeah, Ohtani, Noda, and Brown are all great options, but for tournaments today, I really like Andrew Vaughn and Nate Lowe if you need some tournament pivots off of those guys. Ryan O'Hearn, Mike Moustakas, I think make for great salary-saving options. I like the Mountcastle and Christian Walker calls, but I think my favorite tournament option at this position would be the Spidey Bomb, Pete Alonso.
All right, real quick before we get to second base, NFL season is coming up. You can get our team of experts here at RotoGrinders. We can do all the work for you so you don't have to. You can get access to everything we have. There's a special discount available only to those without a RotoGrinders subscription. So if any of you are out there on the YouTubes, you're mooching off us for free from our sponsor, FanDuel. We appreciate you watching the show, hitting the like button. But if you want all of the premium stuff, you can get $50 off a limited time for $375 on the season. Make sure to check that out. Covers everything premium, lineup HQ if you're multi-entering. Absolutely necessary tool out there. So NFL is coming up. It's going to be real big here on RotoGrinders. Check it out. Second base. Let's go over here. I'm looking for Angels, not in the outfield, but at the second base position. Brandon Drury, Carrasco, reverse splits. This looks like a pretty good spot. Reasonable price. We're spending up on pitching, Tim. It fits everything that I need today.
Yeah, for cash, that's completely fine. I'm fitting in Giloff into my single entry team, just so everybody knows. If you see me in single entry GPP, I am playing Giloff, but for cash games, I am playing Drury.
Yeah, no one's going to fault the Giloff, basically the most prolific home run hitter to start. I think it was an Oakland career, maybe even a career. He's just bashing home runs left and right.
Yeah, and I really like Matt McLean too. I really like him tonight too.
TJ, if Giloff's going to have, I think, reasonable ownership today. He's expensive. Drury, sort of the cheap mid-tier play. What else are we doing?
Bryson Stott, I think, is an interesting tournament pivot off of those guys. If you're not playing Scherzer, Edouard Julien, I think, makes for a very interesting one-off as well. You can full out punt with a guy like Sosa if you need to, all the way down at 2K. But Those are just like same guys up top are my favorites as you guys. Guelph and Marte are my top two.
Yeah, Tim, sometimes I'll punt. I'm not playing Sosa in cash personally. I don't think it's the worst play in the world. He's probably my second option. I just want a little bit more consistency, a better lineup spot than someone hitting at the bottom today.
It's kind of like the whole Corey Lee situation. You know, like you got to punt with one of those guys. But I agree with you. I'd rather go Drury.
All right, let's go to third base. DraftKings, I've landed on Moustakas as it currently stands right now. Again, looking for some of these guys against Carrasco. A good lineup spot, good hitters in front of him, lots of ways for him to get some fantasy points. And on FanDuel, where he's more attainable, I'm getting Gunnar Henderson. I want as many Orioles as I can get, and they're so much easier to get on FanDuel than they are in DraftKings for me today. That's where I'm getting my Baltimore exposure to.
Yeah, I agree with that. I also wouldn't mind some Jace Peterson. I think he'd be okay. Moustakas is fine, obviously, and Ellie De La Cruz. I think I'd almost rather play him on FanDuel for 400 more if I can do it.
Yeah, expensive, but I definitely like the Reds for sure, and Cruz absolutely today. TJ, what else are we doing? If people are playing Gunnar, Moustakas, I know Tim mentioned Ellie. What else can we be doing here?
I think Brian Hayes makes for a very interesting tournament one-off. I love the Jace Peterson call. Heimer Candelario I like in tournaments as well. And Jan Moncada if you got to save salary. And I think Ryan McMahon as a tournament one-off is very interesting as well if you're not playing Bradish in a lineup.
All right, let's go to shortstop. Tim, who are we looking at for that?
I think we're still going down the Tim Anderson, cheap, cash game guy. He's still way too cheap on both sites. 2,500 on FanDuel. I think he's 3,100 on DK. I think he's got to be the guy again. We've played him like the last 3 or 4 slates, and for cash games, that's what I'm going to continue doing. For tournaments, I like Ellie and Gunnar, but for cash, it's Tim Anderson.
I hate Tim Anderson, but I'm playing him on
I know.
I've moved. I'm playing it's Rengifo or Anderson for me. Basically, if I made a concession elsewhere in my lineup to not play Tim Anderson on FanDuel today. I refuse to go all in on Tim Anderson. So I got Rengifo over there. I think if you can squeeze him in, I would much rather play him than Anderson. But I couldn't make it work on DraftKings today. TJ, if we're all going mid-tier, right? If I think the majority of people are going to be playing Bradish plus one of Peralta, Wheeler, Scherzer. We don't have a lot of money. Is there anyone else in that cheap tier you'd like? And then if you were going with the Davies, what do those lineups look like?
I don't think a punt with like Peguero or something like that is all that crazy, but I don't mind sticking in the mid tier with somebody like Willie Adames, a low ownership. But my big 3 for tournaments today are going to be in the spend up range. I think most people are going to try and save salary here. And so Corey Seager, Francisco Lindor, and Dansby Swanson are going to be the 3 guys I like the best. And you really don't have to break the bank for Swanson and Lindor. 5,100 and 5,200 a piece on DraftKings, and not all that bad on FanDuel either. So I like those 2 quite a bit.
All right, Tim, outfield Ohtani, is he making the teams today? Can you fit him in with the expensive pitching, or are you maybe going to a Luis Robert to anchor your teams?
I can't fit Ohtani. If people can fit Ohtani, feel free, obviously, to play Ohtani. I can't fit him, so I'm just gonna fade him and hope that he doesn't go for a billion fantasy points. I think Corbin Carroll is my guy over Robert or Kyle Schwarber. I really like Kyle Schwarber today. I always like playing Kyle Schwarber when he's going up against a righty with a low K rate. So for me, it's kind of like it's a toss-up between Schwarber and Carroll.
All right, I like Robert. He's my spend-up. I like you. I can get to Ohtani, but it's just you just end up sacrificing a little too much. So I ended up saving the Sailor, and I think
I'd rather like, and also I really like Seth Brown. He's outfield only on FanDuel, and then like guys like Eloy is only 2,900 on FanDuel. So like those guys are great on FanDuel.
Yeah, a couple Brown, Santander. I like on both sites, just 4K on DraftKings, 3,300 on FanDuel. Again, I'm trying to get as many Orioles as I can in there. Seth Brown, you've got Rooker in there as well. A's. If I have to, so on DraftKings, there's Alec Thomas. There's Martini from the Reds hitting 5th. Alec Thomas is hitting 6th. Of those two, as an absolute cheap outfielder, which would be your favorite?
So for cash, I'd rather go Thomas. I am playing a 5-3 Athletics Reds stack in my single entry, so I have Martini in that team. But if I'm playing just cash, it's Thomas.
Yeah, I've had Thomas too, but I think Martini's pretty reasonable as well. TJ, you got something you were going to say?
No, I was just scratching my ear, but I haven't gone outfield yet, so I'll fire that one in right now. To me, in terms of the spend ups, it goes Carroll 1, Schwarber 2, Robert 3, but Carroll and Schwarber are very, very close together in terms of who's my top guy is today. And there are some cheaper mid-tier-ish guys that are going to be really low owned that I think are strong plays today. And like the Santanders and the Eloy Jimenez, you guys mentioned, are fantastic. But in addition to them, somebody like a Max Kepler one-off today, a Seiya Suzuki one-off, Matt Wallner, I think is a phenomenal tournament one-off today, going up against Max Scherzer if you're not playing him. Tony Kemp in your Oakland stacks batting 5th. Alec Burleson going up against Wheeler batting 2nd. Hunter Renfroe. Like, this mid-tier range is fantastic. I would definitely be either trying to play the Otanis and Bellingers at the first base position, or likely getting underweight on this most expensive tier of outfielders, because there are so many good cheap ones today.
And don't forget about Lawrence Butler in your A's stacks. You want to attack Tukey with lefties, and Butler's super, super cheap. He's got power and speed potential, and he's dirt cheap. So like, he can go with that double pay up build on DK, and he's a great pivot off of guys like, Brown or, some of those other outfielders. So just don't forget if you're making multiple teams.
Let's see. I think we've got plenty of time for questions. Lock isn't until 7:10 today. Oh no, I'm just over here till 7:05. So we've got about 7-8 minutes left for questions. I'm going to go to the live stream chat, and we're waiting for about 13 more likes to get a final Spidey bomb from TJ, and maybe Tim can have a tater for us at 125 as well. So no pressure, Tim, but you're going to have to come up with something if they click the like button enough.
I got one right now. I'll give to the people. I really like Corbin Carroll plus 500 on FanDuel. I think that's pretty good odds.
All right, I'll get in on that one. Anyone mentions is a bet on these shows, I follow you in on that one. So I will get me some Corbin Carroll. Let's get some questions here first. Going to go to the live stream chat from the Discord. Let's see. Amateur Hour, FanDuel, single entry. Brendan Rodgers is leverage against Chalky Bradish. I don't know. That's probably getting a little way too cute today, TJ.
Yeah, not for me. Nope.
All right. D-Dot wants to know, no love for Toussaint. It's just for a tournament, sure. But me and Tim are definitely taking the stance. This is not a cash game play for me and him personally today. Correct, Tim?
Yeah, that's. I mean, personally though, just so everyone knows, I wouldn't play Toussaint even in a tournament. But that's my take. I think he's just could be so terrible. I'd rather just get to the A's.
NC Big Hurt wants to know, TJ, I'll go to you. Favorite single entry pitcher / stack?
Pitcher, it depends on the site. It's
FanDuel single entry.
FanDuel. So I would say it's still Scherzer for me, but if you want to lower on pivot, it would be Peralta. And then my favorite single entry stack today, I'd say it's Arizona.
All right, let's see. NBA DFS wants to know FanDuel cash, Ohtani and Jimenez, or Robert and Carroll. The answer is yes.
Yeah, they're both.
I'd probably lean number 2.
Robert and Carroll. I lean number 2.
Yeah, I think number 2 is the way to go.
They're both great, though.
Beaner wants to know Kemp and Santander or Hayes and Mountcastle for a FanDuel tournament. That's definitely number 2.
Yes.
You got get more correlation.
Yeah, you got to get that.
All in on these Orioles today. I bet the Orioles 1,000 different ways today. So if they lose, if they don't score like 10 runs, it's going to be a bad night for me in the sports books. But that's basically how I'm playing DFS as well. So BGA Tom wants to know best cash outfielder on DraftKings, 3,200 or below. So let's set some filters. And let's look at what the RotoGrinders projections have here first. So Renfroe, Stewart, Hearn, Thompson. It's basically no man's land. I'd probably tell you to go to Martini or Thomas and bump something else up in your lineup. Does that sound good, Tim?
Yeah, or get up to Brown.
Yeah, what's Brown? 3,300?
35.
35. Yeah, I think that one of those would be the way I would be playing that today.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to YouTube. We'll find some of these. Let me just Cabbage, a good cheap play in utility on FanDuel for 2K.
No.
Anybody?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think. I mean, the projection's just so bad. Even against Carrasco, I'm going to probably take a pass on that one and find something else in your lineup to make work on that one. We're at 116 likes, a couple more. TJ is going to be stingy. He's holding on to that last Spidey bomb for us. Chase Seth today is a question. We didn't really talk too much about him. I would play from a tournament. Would you play him, TJ, over? I know you mentioned Davies a little bit, but he would be in a MME tournament pool for me. I would have, I don't know, 5 to 10% of them in a large field tournament on a site like DraftKings today on Seth.
I wouldn't tell you you're wrong for doing that, but I don't think I would. No.
Tim, do you have any interest in him?
I like him better than Davies and Tukey and Carrasco. So if you're down there, yeah. I say yes.
Yeah, that's sort of the side I would be on today as well. I would take the Tim side of that particular argument. Let's see, Brown or Rooker, if you got to choose one today, Tim.
Definitely Brown.
I think it's a lot closer, but I'd probably lean Brown. But Rooker's having a much better season. Very close, but I think I would lean Brown today, just by the slightest of hairs. Cheap catcher on DraftKings. So the two Langoliers is 3,200, and then Tim and TJ both like Lee all the way down to minimum price 2K. Doesn't get any cheaper than that. Those are probably the two options, Tim.
Yeah, or you could do what is it? Ohapi, Ohop. Yeah, but really Lee or Langoliers.
For one thing, I want to just touch on quick about the Toussaint, Silseth, and Zach Davies situation. From a raw point standpoint, if you have the salary, I don't have any issue going with a Silseth over Davies. But for me, that $1,000 does a lot for Zach Davies all the way down there in the 5Ks as opposed to Silseth. So that's one of the reasons I like Davies, is because it allows you to get all the bats you want today.
Mm-hmm. Beaner wants a recap of the Spidey bombs, TJ.
Pete Alonso, Alec Thomas, and who was the third one?
Bellinger.
I'm tired. It's Saturday evening. I don't remember. Who's the
belly bomb?
You had Bellinger.
Bellinger, right. When they're not scrolling at the bottom of the screen there, it's hard to remember. But
you're just gonna have to produce the shows.
I got Belly on Belly is the third one.
See, this is what happens when you mess with the powers that be. They come after you. So that was a good one. I'll give them that one. We're basically at lock. Tim had Corbin Carroll. I followed him in on that. I think I got it at 480 on FanDuel. I like the Orioles run line. I like the Orioles money line paired with the Phillies money line. Anything else? I don't really see any more questions. Rob got us good on that one.
That was really good.
I think we'll call it a day here. TJ, what's the final Spidey bomb? Let's get that last one out for the people.
We can't do it. We're not at 125.
It's at 120. I'm clicking the button as much as I can. I can't help it.
The thing about math is 120 and 125. They're actually two different numbers.
This is This is a true statement. No one would argue with you on that one. All right. The likes are going down, TJ. It looks like that's not going to happen. We're going to call it a wrap, everybody. I hope you had a good day today. I'll see you. Are we all on tomorrow, or is Cards back on tomorrow?
I'm not on tomorrow.
All right. TJ, are you on tomorrow?
I believe so. I think I'm producing tomorrow regardless, so
All right.
I'll be on.
So we'll be back. Hopefully the Spidey bombs come through. The bets come through. Everyone have a good night. For Tim, TJ, and producer Rob, I'm Brett. Thanks for watching, and we out, chat.